Well, yesterday, Joe Biden cemented his standing as the most consequential president of our lifetime. We continue to have some feelings about how we got here. But thanks to Joe, the Democratic Party infighting appears to be ending. We are on the way back to being in array, and we're ready to do all we can to elect President Kamala Harris, but not before we have a few words to say about how we got to this spot. Welcome to special edition of MOMocrats MOMochat, part of the Demcast family of podcasts. I'm Donna Schwartz Mills with Karoli and Aliza Worthington of crooksandliars.com. And didn't I just talk to you a couple of days ago?
Well, consider this a group therapy session. And I don't know what else we can say other than that. Let me just start by saying that obviously I'm 150% behind Kamala Harris, and I will do whatever I need to do to get her elected. And it's going to take that kind of energy to elect her because, my daughter called me yesterday, or she didn't call me, she texted me yesterday. Yay. Yes, I have the Fearless t-shirt. I wore it yesterday. So anyway, she texted me yesterday and said she was literally having panic attacks. She basically shut off all the news thinking that Biden was the nominee. She was going to vote for him. It was going to be fine. And then all of this happened, and she was at her friend's like bridal or shower or bachelorette or something. And she texted me, she goes, I'm having panic attacks. This is like PTSD 2016 all over again. I said, well, you know what? You're going to have to get over that and get behind Kamala. And because it's going to take that kind of energy. It's going to take Obama level energy to get her elected.
Now, the good news is that they raised 81 million in the first 24 hours.
Right.
Including on a call of activist Black women that got 40,000 people on the call. They had to contact. Oh, even more.
I heard that they had to get the Zoom CEO involved in it.
They couldn't fit everybody on it. My friend Vivian was on it, and she, they had let me just make sure you.
Because what I
heard 44,000. That was what I heard.
And that they crashed. They exceeded the limits, and they had to get the head of Zoom to expand it for them, and he did.
Right.
Which is and they raised over a million just on that call.
I believe that.
Yeah,
I totally believe that. And that's the good news. From what I heard, the grassroots fundraising had been off, but I'm just going to say maybe it was off because people like me who would ordinarily have been giving and had regular giving already anyway, right? Maybe we didn't like how the Democrats were behaving, so I wasn't giving any extra to anybody.
And maybe they were having trouble because all we were hearing were negative stories. They're still trying to say that, the Republicans' first smear after this happened is, well, if he can't run a campaign, he shouldn't be running the country. And it's like,
that's ridiculous.
It
has nothing to do with him running a campaign. He just can't travel all over the U.S. and be president too. That's basically what he's saying.
And the problem is with our campaigns in that respect.
Right.
Let's see what we can do in 100 days for Kamala Harris.
We're going to have to.
Excuse me. So this was a Zoom call last night. It was organized for Black women organizing for Kamala Harris. They had a max. The call had a max of 1,000 people. They hit it immediately, and they had to get a hold of the Zoom CEO to help them expand it. 40,000 people joined for over 4 hours.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And what I'm seeing is that between Act Blue and the Future Forward Super PAC, she's raised close to $250 million.
Well, that includes those big donors who are holding back.
Right.
That's I right now I don't even care about them. Only because I mean, yes, she's going to need them, but
I don't care about them. I care about the money. Because what I said in my post yesterday was those assholes who pushed him out had better open up their fucking wallets. And yes, I get the first fuck in on this podcast.
Darn, I was hoping to.
No, that was me today. They'd better open up their wallets and throw their support behind her, even if what they wanted was another boring white dude.
And some of them still haven't opened their wallets.
No, they haven't. And I have a friend who had been pushing and pushing and pushing for Biden to drop out, has been pushing since last winter, well before this whole thing started.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had words about it. And he kept putting things on his page about Biden dropping out. Well, the time is now. Biden just because. And I don't for a minute think he's not a Republican. He's not on the Trump train at all. He really, just as much as I do, wants to avoid a fascist takeover of the country. This is, he genuinely believed that Biden couldn't win.
Okay, so now we have.
And now we have Kamala Harris, and the only thing that was on his page then after yesterday was Joe's out, and that's it. I'm like, and?
Right?
Yeah. And? Yay, congratulations, thank you. Thanks for listening to me. What, great, let's get moving now. Nothing.
So let's talk about a little bit about that.
Are you kidding me?
Because honestly, after the way that Biden was treated, every person that was behind the scenes sticking the knife in his back ought to be out in public today, endorsing Kamala 100%. Instead, you hear these underlying sort of undercurrents that say things like, well, she has to earn it. And I'm just going to tell you right now, she has earned it. Yeah. She is the vice president of this country, and she has been present at all the important things. She has been involved in all the important things, foreign and domestic. This idea that she has to earn it just makes me want to slap people. I mean, it's just disgusting. Yeah. It's wrong and it's sexist. And no, she doesn't. She has already done that.
Yeah.
And so where's Obama, right? Where's Michelle Obama? Where's, all these people
Nancy
that were so worried about Biden?
Finally came out to endorse her.
Yeah.
What the hell took so long? Why? Right. Everybody else lined up behind her immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Hakeem Jeffries, I don't understand. I don't buy that the people in power are trying to look like they're not pulling the strings. I don't understand.
Because they already pulled them. Hi.
They already pulled them. They were fine looking like they were pulling the strings to get him to, to withdraw his nomination.
Mm-hmm. In fact, we're way more aware of how many strings there are to be pulled now.
Yeah. And that's it's absurd to me that they think they can try to maneuver how it looks. Now, they can't. We know what's up. We know what's up with David Axelrod. We know what's up with Obama's whole Harvard scene, all his buddies. We know what's up with all of them. We do. Okay? And we know how they feel about Joe Biden.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I am not happy about how this all played out, but just as whatever Bill Clinton did in private doesn't negate his accomplishment in toppling a 12-year Reagan-Bush thing, he will always be an important president to me for that.
Mm-hmm.
Obama will always have a place in history for what he accomplished. And Pelosi will always be the best House Speaker of all time.
All of that is true.
So,
All
I
of
mean,
that is true, and I don't argue with that. But they are diminished in my eyes by
yeah.
how they treated Joe Biden in this moment.
And politics is nasty, and Joe Biden will go down in history as one of the greats.
Yeah,
He
I
will
make
have exceeded Obama.
absolutely.
He
I'll
accomplished
make one
more
exception.
in
Bill
one
and Hillary Clinton did not backstab. They were behind
no,
him all the way, and
100%.
all the way. And
And
then
Hillary
they were the
will be
first
a
to endorse
resource.
Kamala after
Yeah,
he just withdrew.
yeah,
So I just want to make that clear that
yeah.
they were behind him. Everybody else seems to have had problems with, whatever. And I remember even, remember that fundraiser that they had in LA here
The one
where
George Clooney said
the
that.
one with George Clooney and
Yeah,
Obama. And
yeah.
right before that fundraiser, before it even happened, there was an article about Obama being nervous about Biden. Yeah, and stuff. So I mean, this has been going on for a while.
Well, no,
And
Obama and Biden never were the close friends that they appeared to be in the memes.
see, I thought they were at the end, or at least they had some respect for each
They
other.
had
But I guess
respect for each other, but I don't think they were ever
So
close.
there wasn't that bromance was made up then.
Well, in
That's
2016,
disappointing to learn.
in 2016, it was Hillary that Obama encouraged to run.
well,
Now, we
he
know
owed her that
right. He
at
did.
that point. I mean, that was simply a transactional. Yeah, I'm this, and then you come in behind me thing. That's why you do the Secretary of State thing, and then you leave at the end of the first term, and you go get ready to be, run for president. That was purely transactional. But yes, Biden got caught in that. I mean, I find, yeah, I mean, he definitely got caught in that. But I do think they were friends. I do think that they came to have some that they were friends and had respect for each other, which is why this felt very cold to me. And it feels cold that he's that. So what I hear from Obama is that he wants an open convention because that way, it's coming up from the grassroots and not from the power, the party power or whatever. And
okay, but his decision not to run again came from the party power.
exactly, and that's the part and it frustrates me that it's donors, 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 donors this, donors that.
All donors.
So now what we know, like you said, that's now all exposed. So now that we know that the Democratic Party is run by by our side of millionaires, right, and millionaires and billionaires, and it's disappointing. I mean, I'll be honest. There my relationship with the Democratic Party has been ongoing since I was 13 years old. I mean, that's how long it's been. And now it's fractured. And I don't know how it's going to be repaired.
It's
With
going to
the
be repaired because we have to get rid of Citizens United. It's going to be repaired if we get our trifecta, we win this election all the way down the ballot, and we start doing shit. And that includes getting rid of Citizens United because that's why the money people have as much sway as they do.
Yeah. I mean, I was fully prepared when all this rumors about donors withholding their money, blah, 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 came along. Yeah. I was fully prepared to say, well, listen, let's just run as populists. What the heck, right? Let's get everybody to dig in and do it. And we still need to do that. Kamala Harris is going to need a lot of money.
Well, she's going to need all the help she can get. They're going to come at her. I mean, the way they came at Joe was worse than they came at Hillary. And the media colluded.
Okay, can we just talk about the media for a minute?
I mean,
yeah, but I have
doom spiral of polling numbers is because the media would not cover his successes.
Right.
But I would like to, before we move on to the media, I want to talk a little bit again about the donors and the relationship between Biden and Harris and the difference between the relationship between them and Biden and Obama. And I really feel like when Biden was told, in the same way when he was asked, are you worried about your, legacy if you don't step aside?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I'm not doing this for my legacy.
Right.
I'm not doing this. He's doing this because he can, and he has ideas and he wants to finish them, and he can. And I still believe he can.
I do too.
I don't think he's withdrawing his nomination because he thinks he can't do it.
No, I agree with you. I mean, I don't know if you guys cried when I got the news. Did you cry?
Right. I don't think he's doing it that way. I don't think that's why he's doing it. But I think that for the same reason he's saying donors don't want me to run. I think that he's the kind of guy who would say fuck the donors.
I do too.
We have so much small
like him.
Yes, and that's why they don't like him. But and both Kamala Harris and on that donor call that Kamala Harris held.
Yeah.
Oh boy, did the Kamala Harris team piss off the donors because she was late, and the surrogates from the Kamala Harris team were telling the donors in that space while they were waiting that they need to lay the fuck off Biden, and that Biden was going to be the nominee, and that they needed to fucking chill out. And they did not like that.
I was going to say they weren't mad at Kamala. They were pissed.
They weren't mad at Kamala. They were pissed off at the surrogates who were telling them that they needed to chill out. Okay. Yeah. And then, so basically both Biden and Harris told the donors and the people trying to pull strings to go fuck themselves. This is not about my legacy, and this is not about big donors. Right. And, I get the impression that Biden and Harris have the kind of friendship and the kind of affection for each other that we were led to believe Obama and Biden had.
I do too.
And the kind of respect for each other. And that, to me, makes it feel a lot more genuine and authentic when, Biden says, you know what? Fuck it. I am going to step aside. She's more than ready to run. Let her stand on my shoulders. He's always the guy who lets people stand on his shoulders.
He does.
And this is, so let her stand on my shoulders. Let's launch her now. Fine. There's nothing she can't do.
Exactly.
That I couldn't do. And the other thing I want to say about Obama, in that, he wasn't as nearly as progressive as Biden. In fairness, he couldn't be.
Right.
No, absolutely.
There's no way that this country would have allowed him to be. So absolutely. That's to me, that's not a negative for Obama. And that's not something I would ever hold, against him in his governing or his philosophy. Because even when there was something where he genuinely held a philosophy or a practice that was sort of less liberal, whether it was gay marriage or the way women were treated and the people that worked for him, he would listen and he might hear it, and then he would change his mind. He was very flexible in his thinking. So I don't want to give the impression that I or we feel that was a downside to his administration, because to me it wasn't. I just feel like he was so much more limited by America's racism. But
he was.
I wanted to get all that out. Thank you. Now we can talk about the fucking media.
I just want to say that we can be angry at our family members, but they're still
love
family. Them. We still,
And I'm telling you guys, between this and between Gaza, man, the Democratic Party has a lot to fucking answer to, or answer for, to me, an American Jew. I am like, anyway, go ahead.
We'll have to do Gaza another time.
Yeah, no, please, let's.
So moving on to the media and their involvement in this entire thing. I just have to say, my husband turned on Nicole Wallace, as he usually does during lunch. And I was literally physically repelled by hearing her voice. I am so angry with her and what she did to Biden, and how she just relentlessly went after him day after day after day, and then said, oh, the polls are dropping. Oh, well, there's a surprise. The fucking polls, they drop when you shit on somebody all day long. That happens.
I didn't think she was as bad as some of the others on MSNBC.
And now Rachel Maddow suddenly loves
of balance, actually, because at the same time that she was doing this, she's devoted lots of time to authoritarianism in Project 2025.
Yeah, well, you know, the person that has actually done more with Project 2025 is Joy-Ann Reid, and
Joy's been great on Project 2025.
She has. She's devoted a lot of time to it.
And on Biden.
She was planning to spend all of today's show on it. I don't know if that's now been postponed because of all of this, but
been postponed because of all of this.
Yeah, but I mean, she's done a great job with that, so that's great. I'm good for them. But with the exception of her and a few others, the constant hammering. Jake Tapper, do you remember me going crazy in 2016 when he was tweeting pieces of Hillary's email out?
Oh my
like
God.
He'd screenshot them and then tweet them out, recipes or whatever, right? Well, that's what he was doing with the congressman. It was just a constant stream of this person calls for Biden to drop out. This person calls for Biden to drop out. Nothing, no context to it at all. Nothing, just that. He was reveling in it.
Yeah.
And that's what I
hate. Treats our politics like sports.
Yeah.
And it's not a sport. It is, you know,
deadly serious.
Maybe the meme boys on X think of it as a game. But people's lives.
What they don't seem to be able to, like, the thought they can't crystallize in their mind is that if Trump takes over, they're on the, bye-bye. They're done. And they don't seem to sense their own vulnerability in an authoritarian, all of a sudden us not having a democracy anymore.
I don't think they believe that he's that bad.
Right, exactly.
I mean, and
they're going to find out.
What they're doing now
should protect them, and it doesn't.
The other thing is,
Jews in Germany thought that the ones that had money, they thought that would protect them, and it didn't, because all their assets got seized and they got thrown in concentration camps.
Right. And I mean, this same thing is they do not believe that he's as bad as he is. I really truly think that, because even today, are you hearing
after an insurrection that they would not give him the time of day, right?
Well, and so after weeks and weeks and days of nonstop, constant pounding on Biden about his age, who's the oldest candidate of them all? Right?
And do they talk about
doing nothing? Yeah, nothing. All of a sudden, candidate's age doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, well, you know what? We're going to make a big deal about it.
Yeah.
We're going to make a big fucking deal about it. And
that's right.
I loved seeing Trump's tweet complaining that he wasted all this money on a campaign against Joe Biden. He wants his money back.
Okay, you know what? That almost made up for everything when I saw that yesterday.
Can we talk about all the good things that have happened since then? I mean, because yesterday, man, I was so in the dumps. I was literally ready to take up smoking. And I mean, like, regular smoking. And it was like, today I feel very different. I see a lot of white women saying, we know we fucked up last time, and we are not going to fuck it up this time.
Good.
And that's what we need. We need white women to get on board.
Yeah,
because white women.
Kamala Harris has been laser focused on what happened after Dobbs. You know, she will be a champion for women. She will be a champion for anybody who has been the victim of a crime. I mean, again, the prosecutor against the felon. I mean, it's
Right.
You know,
And by the way, there will be some that will
yes,
try to
yes,
turn that, you'll remember that the whole Kamala is a cop thing that happened.
Oh
So
yeah,
that,
top cop of California, and
all that kind of stuff. So that will happen, but so what? I mean, that's
well,
the thing.
you know what? So what? Arm yourself with information. Arm
Exactly.
yourself with knowledge. She was extremely progressive for a prosecutor. She
Yeah.
enacted policies that were
Yep.
first in the nation policies
Yep.
as the AG of California.
And she also went after consumer fraud. She went
That's right.
after for-profit universities.
For-profit colleges.
Yeah. Yeah.
She did all of
Both
that.
of which Trump dabbles in.
Yes.
And I think in this one area, she is going to be more progressive than Biden. And that is that I think she's going to push hard for Supreme Court expansion and reform.
I think so too.
He's an institutionalist. In his mind, it's, the nine are the nine. And I think in her mind, that's something that could be changed.
Yeah. And then
I also think that she'll be much more comfortable talking about abortion.
Yeah. No, yeah, because she can say the word.
She can say the word.
He did say it though.
Yes.
He did.
He did.
And
He saw you see the damage that abortion bans are doing.
Oh, yeah.
And I also fantasize that Joe Biden, with 6 months left in office and no fucks left to give and total immunity, could just write some executive orders, and, let the pieces fall where they may.
Sure.
I mean, how about what kinds of things could he do? What could he do?
Let's see. Maybe he could pardon Hunter.
Well, I hope he does pardon Hunter. Whatever else he does, I hope he does pardon Hunter on his way out.
On his way out. Pardon Hunter. Because that was such a politically motivated prosecution. It was
so I hope he does do that. And honestly, Hunter Biden's statement yesterday was what finally did me in.
Oh my God, yes.
I was already in tears with the news and everything. And then I read Hunter Biden's statement and it was like the floodgates opened. I mean, what a loving, kind. I mean, you can see Hunter has a lot of Joe Biden's traits. He's not the asshole that they try to paint him out to be. So,
So
what else do we see him doing?
Yeah, what are the things
we can fantasize, and then there's Joe Biden, there's Dark Brandon. In our fantasies, he goes scorched earth, but we know that he won't do that because he's not. He is an institutionalist, but he is also sly and smart, and he is Dark Brandon. There is a lot of Dark Brandon in him.
And let's face it, if he was thinking about this for several weeks, and I'm sure that with all of the pressure that was put on him, he was thinking it through.
Yeah.
I mean, the timing after the RNC, after they got their terrible vice presidential candidate.
Right.
I mean, it could not have been better.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And nobody, nobody's talking about Trump's ear anymore, right?
Right. Although they had a hearing about that today, but
get it?
Yeah.
There should not have been a way for an assassin to have such a clear shot at him. At the same time, I know that we don't put enough resources into the Secret Service, and you can kind of blame the Trump campaign for always doing these open air events. They're not doing it indoors because they don't want to spend the money.
Right.
Because they've already shafted too many people.
And he himself is not that interested in security because he thinks they're all his friends, that everybody with the guns are his friends.
And the kid who did it was a registered Republican, or the dead alleged shooter was a registered Republican.
So let me give you one of the examples of what Dark Brandon has done, right? You guys know what the SAVE program is, right? Where the student loans,
yes,
they're not forgiven, but the amount that's paid is like no more than 5% of income, and
Right.
it's even less depending on what they are. It's really a great program. It's cut a lot of people's student loan debt down, or their payments way down.
Right.
So the Eighth Circuit basically ruled against that program.
Of course they
So which meant that all those payments would have gone up. So Biden put them all into zero interest forbearance.
Yeah.
By executive order, so that they don't have to pay anything until this whole thing is sorted out.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's the kind of stuff I could see him doing, right? I could see him
He
like,
continues to do that. But let's,
right.
I fantasize about him doing something bold, like
I do too.
adding justices.
Yeah.
Like, but we'll see. We'll see.
I don't know if he got justices, but I'd love it if he just forgave all the student loans, right?
Yeah.
And then ordered the paperwork destroyed so that they couldn't reinstate him.
Yeah. Wait,
or
what did
something
you say, Karoli?
that. Huh?
What did you just say? I missed it.
I said that he forgave them all and then ordered the paperwork destroyed so that they couldn't be reinstated.
What about finding a way to get rid of Louis DeJoy?
Yeah, well, he ought to be able to fire him. I don't know why he hasn't, but I mean, I can think of a lot of different things that he could do that would be good for us. I mean, I think that's how he would think about it. He would think about, what can I do in these last 6 months that would be good for the people? For, he doesn't care about, he has no, no beholdenness to donors. He has no, he can do what he wants within the constraints of what he considers to be the law. So I hope that he's got some good things up his sleeve.
How can he add justices? How can he do that?
The Supreme Court says that anything he does in office is an official act. So, if he wants to get extra legal about it, what's going to stop it?
Well, I mean, I guess
that's true, but I think that one they would probably, the Supreme Court themselves would put a stay on. I mean, I'd love it if he did it, but I mean, there's got to be things we can't even think of that they could figure out.
We can't even think of, and I betcha Biden is thinking of them.
I do too. I would if I were him.
Period.
Yeah, I mean, if I were him, that's what I'd be doing. I think, what can I do in the next 6 months for people, that for ordinary people, the people that voted for me, things like that, without doing harm, obviously, to Kamala's candidacy. You wouldn't want to do that either. I just saw, by the way, you guys, a news flash come by from Vox saying Kamala Harris is the underdog. And I'm like, what? I mean, how is she anywhere?
Because the polling that they still have, has her under Trump, but that's okay.
Well, here's the thing, though. I don't actually buy much of the polling. I didn't buy it for Biden either.
The problem,
the polling has been a huge problem.
Yeah, but if the polling starts doing better, you can probably expect that she's much better than what the polls say.
But are they going to report those polls? Like, I don't even have confidence that we're going to hear anything accurate from any media between now and the end, of my life.
The hardest thing is, how much trust I've lost in just about all the media.
Yeah, I don't basically trust anything. Any media.
And that is part of the authoritarian playbook. Okay. Yeah. They've done it to us now. What they've done to their side, they finally managed to do to us. And I'm pissed off about it.
Yeah, me too.
Well, except that what they've done to us is they have legitimately gotten the media onto their side. They've gotten the media to slant things in their direction.
It's the money. It's the consolidation of media.
Like, we have a good reason not to trust the media. They didn't have a good reason not to trust the media.
Right, they don't.
You know what I mean? They don't. The media did everything to bend over backwards to report things in their favor, and they still didn't trust it.
And that's why they work the refs so hard. I mean, that's why they call them the fake news and they call and all that. And then, but I mean, like, notice how hard Trump went after CNN, and then after the debate, CNN's his new best friend.
Yeah.
You know, so it's all of a piece.
They are pre-submitting to the authoritarian, and it's terrifying. And so, you know, this election is still fraught, but there's new energy in it. And for that, I will always be grateful. You know, Joe Biden is, you know, politically, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And he'll be around to help, I think, with that. I mean, that's the one thing, like, he'll be there to advise on how to get legislation done, along with Pelosi.
Uncle Joe, you know, he'll be there to help.
Yeah. And especially with the Senate, because he's got such a good knowledge of the rules of the Senate and everything like that. So he'll be there to help her with that. And, you know, I'm excited about the energy that I see. I'm excited that that we're not bashing each other for once for the like we have for the last.
Good today. That part of it feels so.
Yeah, the energy is good. I was worried yesterday when I was hearing things like Manchin was thinking of throwing his hat in the ring, and I'm like, oh, geez,
backtracked real fast.
You know, oh my God, what is this going to turn? You know, are a million people going to try to get in there? But what I mean,
who was saying that he wanted the open convention, backtracked a little on that today.
Say that again?
Lloyd Doggett, Texas congressman. You know,
good.
Like last night,
he was the first one to come out against Biden.
Right. So what do we think is going to happen at the convention? Do we think it's going to be an open convention, or do we think
he already has half the candidates she needs to be named? Delegates she needs to be named the nominee.
She'll have the delegates she needs.
She'll have it.
I think by the end of the week she'll probably have them. And
some people are saying by Wednesday. You know.
I know California's delegates there's a whole letter circulating amongst DNC members too, you know, urging the DNC. I think that right now, the biggest challenge is going to be that Republicans are going to challenge everything from ballot access to funding. So they're going to, like, it seems like there's been an analysis done that says that Kamala Harris has the right to access the war chest that they have. And the reason that she has that right is because she was on the ballot. She was, or not on the ballot. She was on the name. In other words, Biden Harris. It wasn't. Right. So, it wasn't just Biden. Exactly. So Republicans are going to challenge that because they challenge everything. I mean, but that's, you know, and Mark Elias has his hands full just with the ballot issues that he's fighting. But I'm sure there's another, I pray that there's another passel of great lawyers out there, campaign finance lawyers who are willing to go and fight this particular battle.
The DNC has good lawyers, but almost immediately when the announcement came yesterday, Mark Elias tweeted out that Kamala Harris will be the candidate in all 50 states. She'll be on the ballot. Anybody telling you otherwise doesn't know what they're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was very comforting to read. That was.
Yes, it was.
I agree. It was comforting for me too. And it was also comforting for me to see that she was getting a lot of money, because if they are from accessing the money that is in that fund right now, at least we know that she has the money to be able to, you know, to be able to do what she needs to do in terms of ads and everything. And I already saw Lincoln Project came up with a good ad today, I thought, you know, thanking Biden and everything. So, you know, those guys, honestly, I mean, Steve Schmidt isn't.
As long as Steve Schmidt isn't involved, I'm okay with that.
He's not involved.
Stuart Stevens and Rick Wilson have actually kind of gotten my approval. Well, Stuart Stevens all together, I'm still like, Rick Wilson is sort of iffy just because he has put some brutal ads against Democrats together. It's hard. I would like to have him say, "I'm sorry for the way I attacked your side," before I'm willing to go in all the way on him.
Rick Wilson fell in love with a nice lady, and she's so cute, and they're getting married, and I think that's softened him.
I know. Is she a Democrat?
Yes, indeed.
Oh, well, good.
Indeed. So, I
But-
mean,
love can have it,
she's like up there with, like, supporting Kamala online right now. So,
right. So the only thing Republicans have been able to come up with so far to attack her is her laugh.
yeah.
And I'm just going to say the thing I loved about him making her his running mate in 2020 was the joy that she brought into the campaign. And I feel like that energy and joy that she has is not at all, he can make fun of it all day long, but it's an asset. It's not a liability. And
it's not a liability.
I keep watching.
I love that the Gen Z has embraced, her line about her mother saying, "Did you just fall out of a coconut tree?"
Yeah.
So that, you've got the videos with the coconuts. And
did you see JB Pritzker's?
Yes, I did.
JB Pritzker, somebody said something about JB Pritzker throwing his hat into the ring, and JB Pritzker responded, "What do you think? I just fell out of the coconut tree?"
Right. He's not going to do that. So
he's not going to do that. He's not an idiot. He's a very savvy politician.
I can't stop watching the video of her with the drum line.
Oh, I know.
It's so great.
I've been playing that again.
And her in the rain. But that was when she had her headquarters in Baltimore when she was running in 2020. And, that was a big banner in the office, a joyful warrior, everything was about joy.
And that's what I'm looking forward to.
I am too.
Tough on Trump, but joyful with us.
Right.
Yeah, joyful warrior.
And I hope she goes out and does more of those drumline dances because honestly, that stuff is great. I love that stuff.
Her sorority sisters, they're going to be doing events. There's going to be lots of opportunities for things like that.
Do not underestimate the Black sororities, man.
Oh, no, not ever.
Right.
So one of the things...
Forces of nature.
That I was watching for last week was how she was handling her speeches that she gave. And I watched the one on Friday, which you probably saw clips of it because it was going around. It was a barn burner of a speech. But the thing that was interesting to me in that speech was that everything that she prosecuted the case. Okay. So and when she did, it was Joe and I did these things. Joe and I did these things. And I had not heard that kind of cadence before from her. The other thing I noticed is that she's got the same ability to code switch that Obama had. So she was talking to North Carolina and she was right there in their, in their rhythm and just those are gifts. Those are gifts that
African American has to code switch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's our fault that she has to do that, but it's it is a political advantage.
Yeah,
it is.
That she knows how.
Yeah, and if the best that Trump can come up with is laughing Kamala, go ahead. I mean, we'll call him Felon 45.
Trump laugh? Does anyone?
No. All he does is sneer.
Yeah, does he know how? And does anyone want to be around when he does?
I don't think he's ever laughed. I don't think I've ever even seen him smile.
When he laughed once, I saw him laugh once, and it was at I don't know if it was a White House Correspondents' Dinner or some other. It was a black tie event where somebody made a joke at Melania's expense.
Of course.
Oh, gross.
And
okay, well that figures.
And it was a genuine laugh and a genuine smile. And I was like, well, doesn't that make sense?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yick.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, I am super glad that we have Kamala as a backup to Biden. And I just want to say to Joe Biden, I sent him a text telling him this too. He will be forever in my heart for all the things that he's done for this country.
Oh my God.
Here.
Yeah. So. Same. I mean, I haven't sent the text, but he will forever be in my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now let's.
And I pulled out my Kamala shirts. I have my Kamala Pride shirt here, and I have my Kamala Harris for the People T-shirt upstairs. And
I have the Fearless. Mine is the Pride one, but it's Fearless.
Yeah, we have, I have this from when they gave these to us when we were volunteering in Baltimore, in the city. And I'm just going to have to get the new yard signs.
We'll get the new stuff. It'll be lime green probably. And
or pink. Yeah, whatever, her sorority colors.
XCX has decided that Kamala is Brat. And so that is.
What does that mean?
Wait, what?
Brat was Charlie XCX's album drop in June. Okay. And it's got a lime green cover. And so you've got the young TikTokers doing everything in lime green, lime green Kamala shirts already.
Oh, wow.
I'm hoping Converse will do a Kamala Harris edition.
Oh, I would totally buy those.
I have, I have the Chucks that I bought in 2020 to wear on inauguration day. Yeah. But they're really uncomfortable shoes.
I know.
I heard that the platform Converse are a lot more comfortable.
That would probably be true.
We'll have to shop for our new Chucks.
Yeah.
And, and put everything we can so that Joe Biden's hard work is not in vain. We cannot allow the Republicans to come in and undo everything because he's built a foundation we need to build on.
And I want to say, if we can make this not a close thing, if we can make it a landslide, that would be awesome. So here's some statistics. If 50% of the people turn out, it's super close. If 60% of the people turn out, it's like what Biden basically won by. If 70% of the people turn out to vote, it's a landslide. It's an Obama landslide. That's how many turned out for him.
So that's what we have to energize. And, first 24 hours feels real good, but we've got another
get your merch. This is something my sister sent me back when before Kamala dropped out. Kamala, get it? That's how you say it. If you're going to say it, correct people when they mispronounce her name. It's comma, like a comma, and then
I have done that.
Kamala. Yeah. When people mispronounce it, a lot of times when people in the media mispronounce it, they're doing it on purpose. It's a sign of disrespect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, everybody, I'm calling on everybody to show her the proper respect that she has earned as a human being. She doesn't need to have earned it, but the proper respect that she deserves as a human being, as a former senator, as a former prosecutor, as a former attorney general, as the current vice president of the United States, and pronounce her damn name correctly. It's Kamala.
Amen.
Here.
Amen. I
you need to take a screenshot of this to help you remember. Do it.
I just want one of those mugs now.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right.
Okay. Well, that's a lot for an extra edition.
Well, we needed to work this out. We needed to get it out of our systems.
We did.
Join us next time on MOMocrats.buzzsprout.com or on your favorite podcast service such as iTunes, Google, and Amazon Music. And be sure to check our Facebook page for updates. I'm Donna Schwartz Mills with Karoli and Aliza Worthington saying bye for the MOMocrats.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
MOMocrats MOMochat's part of the Demcast family of podcasts.